What's up everyone, welcome back to the It Matters podcast. Before jumping into this episode, if you wanna stay updated with all the content I post, don't forget to subscribe to the Facebook page It Matters podcast. This episode is brought to you by Sneaks. Sneaks, it's all about sneakers. These guys are so passionate about the quality of their products and absolutely in love with sneakers. Each pair of them has its own story and personality. However, they truly believe that sneakers are often the ones who actually find us and not the other way around. And this is how their story started. Do you want to keep going? Choose Sneaks and make the step. You can find them online at www.snix.ro. I'll say it again, snix.ro. So, today's guest is a resident orthopedic surgeon from the Elias University Emergency Hospital in Bucharest. Although medicine is the only career he wants to pursue, his sidewalk skills are not to be neglected. From playing drums and guitar to mastering graphic design skills, he got it all figured out. During the high school, altogether with his friend, they founded an alternative rock band called Sophisticated Lemons, in which he played for 7 years until his third year of med school, when he had to drop out so that he could pursue and invest more time on his most important passion, medicine. He is also a former drummer and founding member for Running Clouds, a progressive rock band from Bucharest, Romania. His current music project, Another Persona, is in the process of realizing a solo album, but till then, I highly encourage you to listen to his song on YouTube, Coronary Thief. Suffering from asthma at an early age, he was fond of spending most of the time inside. Combining this with a multiplayer game he used to play, he started to learn how to use Photoshop in order to attend contests for the best avatar signature. During the time as a medical student, he not only focused on his academic studies, but also dedicated his time to make a change in the way courses and workshops were held. As a member of SOMS, Scientific Organization of Medical Students, he co-founded within it the cardiovascular department, alongside with Dr. Dinu Bălănescu, creating conferences and workshops such as the Student Heart Team, PACE, that stands for Practical Arrhythmology and Cardiac Electrophysiology, or ICPS, coming from Introduction to Cardiology for Preclinical Students. In a few words, he envisioned an integrated approach on the cardiology courses that he managed to successfully put into practice. Besides, he is also the co-founder of MEDICS, the Medical International Conference for Students, with its first edition starting in 2016, Bucharest's first International Congress for Medical Students, and the first Congress to have a Nobel Prize winner, Sir Tim Hunt, as a keynote speaker. Although he used his graphic design skills exclusively in his adolescence, they started to bring value to his student projects, and so he became the graphics coordinator for the most important student societies, the Bucharest Medical Student Society, Romanian Student Society of Surgery, and Scientific Organization of Medical Students. So let's help me in welcoming the man who used his asthma as a trigger to boost his passion for music, to develop graphic design skills, as well as to guide him in choosing the field of medicine as his future pathway, Dr. Andrei Popa. Hello Andrei, thank you for coming to the podcast. I'm really glad to have you here.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me. I see that the Christmas spirit is very present in your house.
Of course.
You have the Christmas tree decorated here. Pretty nice. Makes it comfy.
Yeah, I'm glad. I really love this period. It makes me, relax, chill, have a even better positive attitude and...
Exactly. And you know the radio station Magic FM
Of
with
course.
all the Christmas carols.
Of course, I cannot
George
listen
Michael.
to that.
You can?
After 2 days, I know the schedule of each and every song. They play the same song and each and every hour. No, it's very nice. But if you listen with pauses,
Yeah.
No, not every day. I cannot. Even if especially if I listen to this on the same hours, it will be the same track. No, No, I'd rather
You have to get out of the house at different hours each day in order to catch a different song, you know.
Right, I will. Usually I ask the guests about their current status regarding the profession, why they chose it and things like that. But I would like to start with you by asking why did you respond it positively to my invitation?
Well, it's a good question. It's something that I've been giving some thought for like months now, because I think each and every one of us' stories are pretty interesting when looking into the details. Okay, so there are things that happen to us in childhood, in early adolescence, in late adolescence that determine our future actions.
Right.
Okay. So we may start up as being a rather timid person, and through our decisions later on, in late adolescence, we overcome some of our fears. We became
some of our biggest fears.
Right. Exactly. So my own story kind of relates to this because in my childhood I had asthma, and for about 6 or 7 years I didn't go out of my house just because of that. I had to take my puffs with me every time.
No shit.
Yeah, it was allergic. Okay, so every time I got out in the city and there was like smoke from the cars or pollen from the plants, especially in the spring, it was dangerous for me. So I just went to the kindergarten, to the school, the primary school, and after that I just went home and played with toy soldiers and stuff like that. Which really it was kind of like a handicap for me. When I entered college, because I wasn't that good at socializing, because I didn't get the chance to socialize. Fortunately, my allergies kind of got away, and then I said, okay, I have to do something with my life. I can't be a beta all my life, I have to start socializing. I have to start talking with girls, and one of the nicest things that happened to me was starting a band. That was really a breakthrough in terms of getting to expose myself to other people. I started playing drums in about 2007.
Basically, in that time you were in high school, right?
I started high school, yeah, at that time. Started playing drums, and that's because a colleague of mine bought a drum kit. Okay, bought a drum kit.
Okay.
And I went to his house to see the drum kit, and I was completely impressed by how this instrument sounds and works, and how you have to use all of your limbs to make beats and stuff like that, Pretty cool. And I said, man, this instrument is fascinating. And I went back home and I searched on the internet for free drum lessons, and coincidentally there was this site called freedrumlessons.com. And I started taking lessons on that site on pillows. So I just bought a pair of drumsticks and I was beating the pillows in my bedroom, in my bed. And my father saw me. Kind of the whole story with music was encouraged by my father, who I have a very sweet photo when I got home from the hospital after my birth. Okay, so it's the first days of my life, and I have this photo with headphones on, with my eyes like super wide, and I was like listening to Pink Floyd and King Crimson since day 3 or something like that.
That was a sign.
Yeah, that was a sign, because when I later on got to listen to Pink Floyd's albums again, I was like, wait a second, I know this music. Of course my father was responsible. He didn't get to high decibel levels, so don't worry about that. I still have my hearing intact.
Right. Okay.
And getting into music was pretty much an important part of my life.
So when did you discover a passion for music? At that time in high school? I mean, we all like listening to music.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about thinking of music not only as a hobby but as a passion.
Well, I discovered that earlier on, like, I don't know, since when I was 12 years old. So that's about 3 or 4 years before I started getting into music, literally. Because I realized that when listening to music, I really had a pretty good ear concerning rhythm, concerning the notes. Okay, so I could sing the notes even though I have a terrible voice, but I can sing the notes spot on. Okay.
Okay.
My timbre is awful. I cannot sing because I don't want people to hear it. Okay.
But it's perfect for podcast.
But regarding pitches, okay. Thank you very much. Regarding the pitch,
Okay.
I could sing the pitch correctly, and I was like, why do I have this? I mean, I never had any musical practice before, so it was kind of internalized, probably due to my father making me listen to music
Probably.
since childhood,
Mhm.
and I also listened to music that was pretty complex. So I wasn't fed with pop music.
Okay.
I was listening to prog rock music, mostly bands from England, which kind of are the fathers of this genre. And well, that's when I realized that maybe sometime in my life I'll get into an instrument.
Okay. And from that to starting and being a co-founder of a band, it's quite a long
Well,
journey.
Actually, not.
I mean,
That
not
was,
long, but you have to make a step. I mean,
yeah.
we all can perform and sing in our bedrooms, in our living rooms with parents, but when you start a band, you get the exposure, you get to a whole new level.
It wasn't expected at first because I mean there wasn't a plan for this. It was pure luck, and that was what was actually pretty beautiful about it. Because at the same time I got into the free drum lessons, one of my best friends, if not my best friend, started playing the bass guitar, and
Nice.
we said, "Hey, you know what? I started learning to play drums. Okay, let's meet in our living rooms and try to do something." And I was rattling things from the kitchen and stuff like that only to make some beats, and it was pretty cool. And he said that, I take lessons from a classical guitar teacher, and there's a guy there who plays electric guitar. Let's try and make a band.
Very
And from
nice.
from 2 members we reached 3 members, and then we got another boy to sing, and we were like 4 boys made a boy band.
And the boy band was called what?
Sophisticated Lemons. I know. Very sophisticated. I think Andu, the guy from the bass, really wanted to hear Lemons in our titles. I don't know why. It was like, maybe it forced us to come up with a name faster,
Maybe.
And then one day we decided to go to the studio and try and, have a rehearsal on a real drum kit with real amps and stuff.
That's
like
the
that.
next level.
That was the next level. And it was in the era that the internet kind of blew, like everything was growing on the internet, and so were ads and people advertising their web pages and stuff like that. And we found a studio, which later became our main rehearsal room for about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And the prices were pretty low. We went there, we had fun, we started composing songs, and that was it.
Very
In
nice.
about 1 year, we had our first concert. It was pretty nice.
Very nice, I would say.
We were all nervous and stuff like that,
Of
but
course you are. If there is only one instrument I wish I could sing and perform at, is the electric guitar.
the electric guitar, yeah.
I love
it's
that.
a very expressive instrument.
Although I'm not very keen on rock music, I like rock ballads and the old type of rock, not that hard rock right now, no. Just, I don't know, AC/DC and stuff like that, Pink Floyd maybe. But electric guitar, I really like it. I think it's, yes, as you said, I think you could easily express things using that equipment, really.
That's exactly the reason why I gave up on drums after 7 years of playing with my band. Well, 7 years of playing with my band got me into the third year of med school.
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
And it was getting pretty tough in med school. We had to learn a lot more.
With the time management.
Time
you're
management was, yeah. And I said, okay, I can't go on. I just can't go on. It tears me apart, but I have to stop this.
So basically you wanted more to be a doctor.
Yes, at that moment. But I also wanted to continue making music, so I started playing the guitar. And after some 3 years of guitar, I got into bass. And after 1 year of bass, I got into piano a bit. And it goes on and on.
And how did you start with the guitar? Also with the freeguitarlessons.com this
Yeah,
time?
because
or what?
this time YouTube was gaining a lot
Right.
of popularity
Right.
because we had streaming at 3G speeds and 4G speeds.
Right.
You know, we actually live in a time where we have so much opportunities, so many opportunities, that it wouldn't be fair. Even this podcast, you know, people can listen to this podcast, hear what we're saying here, what we're discussing. Yet, yeah, you know, I really have all these opportunities. Why am I doing nothing? Let's start doing something.
Or why
today.
am I doing this that I do not enjoy?
Exactly. You
think-
can always find the path.
That's one thing I really want to accomplish with this podcast. Although myself, I don't think that I have quite a lot of experience, but I think that maybe if I say something, I don't know, to a 18 or 17-year-old, or maybe even to a 20-year-old, maybe this could trigger something in his head.
Yeah, but making a podcast is an experience.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be a good listener. You have to be a good interviewer.
Yeah.
You know, and I listened to your episodes till this episode, and I really like the way it goes.
Oh, thanks. But okay, let's not
You hear
advertise my
stories
podcast. I prefer the others to say that.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate it. Really. I'm also a medical student. You are not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you are saying that the time management became a problem, and I feel you with that regarding medical school. And you pursued learning to the guitar, right? But have you ever thought of letting go music and not perform at all?
Absolutely never. I thought of not performing live anymore because
Okay.
it's pretty stressful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you have a concert,
Okay.
you have to go to the club 6 hours earlier, prepare the sound check, stay around, promote on Facebook, promote the concert on Facebook, then be sure you have a nice performance during the concert. Okay.
Okay.
So you're a bit more stressed than when you're at the studio and rehearsing stuff. And afterwards, people are like, let's do an after party.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this whole day occupied, and then you go home at about 3 a.m. absolutely destroyed. And the next day, if you're continuing to having concert, like in a tour, you do the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, I don't think
And
we don't have time for that. I mean,
Mhm.
if you want to stay on this path with medical studies, and after that working in a hospital, I don't think you
Clearly not.
have-
Yeah.
I mean, you have to choose something.
Hmm.
But you basically chose to have best of both worlds. I mean, you are a doctor now,
Yeah.
and you're still performing.
Yes, in my bedroom, I am composing now because, I mean, I think this is one of the reasons why I chose to start learning more instruments than just the drums, because I really love music and it helps me express myself a lot. Okay, so some emotions that have built up inside me, I cannot make the catharsis just by talking to my mom and dad or stuff like that, or
Okay.
friends. Okay, I need to express it somehow differently so I can hear it myself. Like writers write the
Right.
stories, and then they read it, and I absolutely love it. It's put out there somewhere, even if it's on a piece of paper or in an MP3 file. In my case, I love the MP3 files. Okay.
Okay,
So
right.
that's kind of my catharsis. I mean, I would never give up on that, and I started producing my own songs. I'm actually currently working on an album.
What's your that was my next question. What's your current project, let's say, regarding music right
I
now?
have a solo album
Okay.
in the making.
Okay.
I started from a friend of mine's tragic incident, an incident that is quite intimate, so I don't have to.
Okay.
I won't be able to tell you.
I won't even ask.
And that the incident kind of made me feel a bit furious inside, and I made this whole kind of story in a 9-minute song. So I love writing pretty long pieces of music, as some of my older songs have demonstrated. Or
What
something.
was the name?
The name of the song?
Yeah, no, the song and your. I don't know. I cannot see the band. What's
Another persona.
okay?
Hmm. That's
So-
the name of my project.
Okay, another persona. So where can people find you online with that?
On Facebook
Okay.
and Bandcamp, SoundCloud.
Okay.
But it's gonna be about 1 year until I put my album out.
I think it's going to be worth the wait. I've heard your song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I've heard.
Coronary Thief one.
Yeah. I have to admit, I'm not a fan of rock music, but what really, let's say, flabbergasted me is that I know you. I mean, I know the guy singing, you know, and I have that image of you in my mind and that piece of content that I was listening, and I was, dude, this guy did that. It's totally amazing. I mean,
thanks. Yeah,
I really like it, and I'm so eager to hear your album after your release. I don't care if it's in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, but I know for sure that it will be okay because I know you are passionate about this, and when you're passionate about something, the results cannot be other than good, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or at least that's what I'm trying to do and achieve.
You're not Slash, right?
No, of course
You're not.
I'm not. I don't consider myself a good drummer or a good bass player or a good guitarist or a good pianist. I just consider myself a musician
It
and a
doesn't
doctor at the same time.
So you are both, right? But I don't think it does really not matter how you consider yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's even irrelevant how you consider yourself or how I or someone else considers yourself. If you like what you're doing,
exactly.
put it out. We have now limitless of opportunities to be heard. Put it out, and there are so many types and kinds of people. Everyone, I think, can find their audience and their listeners.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that your content is not good. It is, but of course it will not appeal to everyone.
Exactly, especially because the songs are so long.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays...
Who listens to a 9-minute piece of content without any lyrics?
Exactly. I know what you're saying.
And is not and is not in a club.
The way
being high. So
the way this kind of music functions is that you listen to it when you're home, like watching a movie. So you have to actively listen. It's not radio friendly at all. You can't listen to this stuff.
Not.
I don't listen to this stuff in the car because I think when you're driving, you're enjoying the moment and you listen to some 3-minute pop songs and you try to hear some things that are familiar to your ear.
Right.
Okay? But when I reach home and I have time for myself, I put on a nice prog rock album and enjoy myself, have a beer or something like that,
Yeah.
It really relaxes you and gives some kind of satisfaction. I don't know why. I can't explain it.
There are people who will not agree with you at all. And there are people who say, yeah, of course it doesn't. Right. It depends to the people that resonates with it. It's like this podcast where it will not be listened by everyone, and I'm not interested in that. If one person get a message from one episode, I think my mission is complete.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I mean,
exactly. You do it for yourself.
Yeah. And for others.
And for others. Yeah. Because initially the music was for myself, but when I finished that track, I was so satisfied with it that I wanted everybody else to hear it.
To share it. Right.
But the first instinct was I want to do it so I can enjoy what I created. And all of this started because my childhood was pretty much messed up by a disease that passed.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get out in the world and show that I also have a personality. I can do things.
That was a trigger.
That was a trigger. That was the trigger for forming the band and going to the studio. I said, this is my chance to be, a unique person.
It's very nice, this thing with music, because I really think that I wish I could do this, but I don't think I have the skills and the emotional intelligence for that. I don't think I could express myself through an instrument, but it's quite fascinating what you're doing. And I would like to ask you about, I know that you are making graphics, right?
Yeah,
You are very good at graphics too.
Thank you.
I've seen your work, and we worked together on some projects where you were making the graphics. I had to print it on different kind of stuff. And how did you get to be this good with graphics?
Well, this is one of the stories that I really wanted to put out because it's something that in early childhood, early adolescence,
Okay.
we lived in the era when the internet, expanded.
Boomed.
And you got high-speed internet and you got multiplayer games. Okay. So I was a fan of Star Wars. A lot of the people from my generation were Star Wars fans, and I still am with these new movies, okay? These new movies. And there was a game called Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. Okay, so it was a multiplayer game or a single player if you chose to play single player. But since I had high-speed internet, I could go play multiplayer at about 12 years old or something like that. And we had teams, okay?
Yeah.
We managed to create teams. And there was this team called the Clan. We used to name it Clans of Players, okay? Because it sounded more like in the universe of Star Wars. Called the Jedi Knight Guardian Academy. It had an online forum. And this forum was pretty much like kind of Facebook nowadays. Okay, so you make a post, then people comment.
Okay.
This is how the forum works. Actually, I think Facebook got it from the forums, not the other way.
Probably.
Yeah. And on this forum, everybody had a signature. What the signature was, you made a post, a thread, okay, and you commented. Each time you commented, you had your profile picture there and the signature.
Right.
And the signature was basically like a cover photo nowadays, like the Facebook cover photo, okay? So a long, small image that you can customize the way you want and stuff like that. And there were contests for signatures, okay? People took photos of their favorite Star Wars characters and then put their names on it and stuff like that and made it look very nice. And I had no idea. I thought, wow, you must be a designer to do that, because I was only 12 years old, okay? And then I asked someone, how do you make this stuff, okay? And he said, well, Photoshop. And I instantly got triggered and I said, I have to make the best signature there is on this forum. And I started working in Photoshop at 12 years old with the earlier versions of Photoshop, which were very, minutious.
Okay.
And nowadays we have all kind of presets and stuff like that, so we work pretty fast. But then it was kind of a minutious work to do. But staying in home, being kind of used to staying inside from the early childhood, I got really good at making signatures. And then after 3 years, when I got in high school and I started the band, I didn't use that skill at all. Okay, so I knew the skills, I learned them. I never used them again until I got into med school.
One question before we are jumping to the med school. You trained yourself with Photoshop too, or someone taught you? Or
I trained myself, literally no internet guide, no nothing. I just pressed every button and saw what they do. It's like super, like a brute force hacker, You just touch everything, push everything.
But that's really, I think that's the definition of passion, really. I mean, you have Photoshop tutorials free.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can learn Photoshop for free. Okay, there are courses for advanced Photoshop skills that, require a sum of money, but you start pushing buttons like a retard.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And
it's the most childish thing to do, I'm curious what this does.
But you know that you can do this, that even now. Let's say you lack the skills of Photoshop and you want to take up Photoshopping, right? You can do this too.
This is a thing where I started to appreciate Didi from Dexter's Laboratory.
Okay.
Because she was actually super curious. What does this button do? Okay.
Right.
That thing, in Dexter's Laboratory, Dee Dee's character was perceived as being very silly.
Right.
But actually, as an adult, you kind of see what's wrong with that? What's wrong with being silly? You know,
Yes.
we lose our curiosity the more we age.
And I think that's the number one quality of children, that they are curious. This is why they learn so fast, because
Exactly.
they're curious. They ask questions. Look at us now on the university's courses. We just stay there. We watch. We text. We play. We sleep. We do everything but ask them things and ask that guy. And
But you know, this is a problem that I think actually comes from the course tutors, and I don't want to anger anyone. But
that's a very hot spot for me, because if we talk about education in our university, I'll get so pumped and furious. And
you know, I've had the opportunity to meet really good tutors, and then I also met really bad tutors, and I think it's not that they lack passion; they just
don't.
lack presentation skills.
I don't think they lack presentation skills too. I think they lack the ability to adapt to this 21st century, because they have passion, they have a lot of knowledge,
Yeah,
knowledge.
exactly.
They are like walking books.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that students, we are not attracted to knowledge because we have knowledge everywhere.
Exactly.
We have knowledge in our
We
pockets, in
have
our
an
phones.
abundance of information everywhere.
Come
around you.
there for the human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
We want to talk to him. I can read that piece of slides and piece of PowerPoints home,
Yeah.
in
yeah.
the subway, in a cab. But I think that's their problem, not because they lack knowledge. They do not focus on what is important right now, or that they do not engage us with the smartphones. Let's say, that there are platforms. I assisted in that course. I don't know where. I cannot remember, but I was fascinated that the guy said, okay, you can now use your smartphones, type this address, and answer to the questions on a platform, and he received the results instantaneously and charts regarding what we were answering regarding a subject. So think about that. He used the technology. He made us not text on the phones, just take the phones and type the address and engage with him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he caught all of our attention on the spot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
because
the problem.
he used your device that is a major distraction
Right.
from the academic
Right.
study. Okay.
Right.
So he said, okay, if you use your phones all the time, let's use it for this course.
This time, let's
You won't
use it
have
for
any
something.
distraction.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
something.
that's
useful.
actually super cool.
It is. If now I was asked to, I don't know, keep a course, let's say, I would put them. I would say, okay, all the phones here, no phones. The course is, I don't know, 1 hour. Is your mom dying? No. Is your dad dying? No. Is anyone dying? No. Okay, the phone's here. Or use this. Let's engage with them with the phones. And it's not only about students, about every living person right now.
Mm-hmm.
We all have that distraction with our phones, and that's why I told you that for me, education is quite an interesting subject and a very hot spot, because I think it's for me it really failed because I had no idea where what university to apply to. No, absolutely no idea. I basically chose medicine because I thought about it less boring than any other. Less boring, not even more interesting than others. Imagine where I could end up, because it was I took a risk, and it's not that kind of risk when you are sure about something. That kind of stupid risk, right? Because I had no knowledge about medical field. I have no medical background, right? So that's why I have a problem with education, because I think this should be the main focus of high school. After you finish high school, to know I'm good at this, I'm bad at this, I'm passionate about this, I don't want to do this, I think it's more important
Exactly.
to know what you don't want to do rather than what you would like to do.
Exactly.
But I had no idea. It was a real fog in my head.
Well, I had the idea that I'm pretty keen on helping people, and affected by the asthma in the early childhood. I was like, I don't want people to live like that. You know, I want to make people live a healthy life. Okay.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons I choose medicine and not follow the musical career. The other reason that I not follow the musical career in itself is the thing that I mentioned earlier. It's exhausting, and it's super insecure, financial wise. Okay,
Yeah,
so it was
it
both
is.
a rational and emotional choice. My other choice, the third option, was getting into alternative alternative energy.
Ah, okay.
But unfortunately, Romania didn't offer this opportunity to me, and I was like, tough luck. I'm gonna go with medicine. Especially that when I was a 4-year-old, there was this show on TV called The ER with George Clooney,
Okay.
and I always wanted to watch that, but my mother didn't let me watch it so
Okay.
much because of the graphic content, you know. But I was like, George Clooney, wow, he's such a good doctor, and I want to be like him. And that thought kind of stuck with me until I got admitted in university.
Yeah, I think that's a question that anyone listening would ask themselves. Okay, but that guy, he knows music, he knows graphics. Why medicine, right? So you said why, and you made your points, and I think it's quite it's like charity, basically.
Somehow, yeah.
You chose others rather than yourself, because music and graphics, it's like, I don't know,
The creative industries.
Right.
Exactly. It's something that it's unrelated.
Yeah.
But some part of me thinks it's kind of a right way to go. I mean, both of them fuels me spiritually.
All right.
On one hand, you have treating others because it's shitty to have a disease. Any kind, even fractures, because, you know, I'm the bone doctor. Okay. But the music, so that's kind of a more philanthropic kind of thinking. And the other is completely egocentric, the music. So I'm trying to, you know,
balance
make both halves, exactly. To balance these halves of spirituality. You know,
You're right.
Altruistic and egoistic.
But I think this kind of charity you've been doing as a medical student, because you volunteered a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And volunteered not in this, let's say, unorganized, and you are not planting trees, although I have nothing against planting trees. On the contrary, but you are the founder of the scientific organization of medical students, which is an NGO, and I really liked their activity and what they're doing.
Yes, I wasn't the founder. The founder was... I don't know exactly who the founder was. It was in 1987.
Okay.
But I founded, along with my colleague, Dinu Bălănescu, who is a doctor in the States now, in the United States, on internal medicine. We founded a cardiovascular department.
Oh, so the cardiovascular department.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So we founded the cardiovascular department in 2014, I think. And it was kind of because a lot of people were into medicine because of cardiology. Okay, everybody likes studying about the heart. Not everybody, but most of them. But they didn't have a platform to learn about the heart other than, say, anatomy in the first year, then physiology in the second year, then clinics in the third and fourth year. So it was like the information was completely separated regarding the heart. So we kind of wanted to make it, cardiology also has different aspects. You have electrophysiology, you have interventional cardiology, you have clinical cardiology, you also have cardiovascular surgery.
Right.
And even these are kind of, they don't teach you these things at the same time. Right. So we wanted to
have an integrated approach.
To learning about the heart.
Right.
Okay. And a lot of people were willing to learn about the heart. So we had our niche, our audience, to say the
Right,
least.
right.
And even ourselves, we wanted to do it, okay? And we said, let's just do it, and let's not wait for something to appear, magically, and the educational system to change for us. Let's do it ourselves.
Right.
And
That's
with the
that's
help.
the approach
Exactly,
I'm talking
yeah.
about.
That's what I was trying to pass on as a mentality,
All right.
And I always preach about this stuff when I'm having meetings, but I think it's kind of annoying. I think a podcast is much better for this kind of information to be passed on. So, with the help of Mihai Stancu, who is now a doctor as well, we were in the same series of
Students.
yeah.
I
So
know.
we kind of know each other for 6 years. Yeah, and it was pretty nice because he was the president of Scientific Organization of Medical Students at that time in 2014. He also went on to be in 2015 and 2016, and he encouraged us as well to do it. He's a very creative person.
You
And-
did some interesting things there.
Yeah, we had some workshops. We had the student heart team, which was basically a conference in which doctors from different fields of the heart sciences
Okay.
came. So a cardiac interventional, an interventional cardiologist, and
Okay.
cardiovascular surgery came to show their approaches for the same pathology. So
Right.
it's super nice.
It
Okay, because
is.
you hear both of the, you hear the both worlds. Okay.
Right.
And then we made a workshop called Practical Rhythmology for. Wait. Practical Rhythmology and Clinical Electrophysiology. Or
God.
for short, PACE. Like
Okay.
pacemaker. So it was
Okay.
kind of an acronym.
You should have started with the acronym and then explain the
Yeah,
how
exactly.
much.
Yeah, so it's PACE.
Okay.
The acronym came from Dino Bolonescu, which really kind of concentrated on that stuff because it's catchy. You see PACE, you have pacemakers for
Right.
electrophysiology, so it kind of combined the concepts, and it was really successful. We worked with Dr. Radu Bătășescu, Dr. Corneliu Iorgulescu, and Dr. Ștefan Bogdan from Floreasca.
Okay.
They are three of the most important electrophysiologists in Bucharest or in Romania, I think. Okay, and
Nice.
they were very willing to help us. Then we had another couple of workshops. One of them is the introduction to cardiology for preclinical students, and that was, I think, the breakthrough for us because that was the moment when we had 4 intensive days of workshop, and we started with anatomy, morphology, histology, physiology,
That's what I was
semiology,
talking
and
about.
clinical science.
Yeah.
All of them in a single workshop, and people were like, "Now I know the heart. Like, I know kung fu.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the scene from The Matrix. I know
Right.
kung fu."
Yeah. Yeah. And it's important because you are right. This this approach that university takes regarding cardiology, let's say, is split. It's split. It's as you said, first year, second year, then there is a bit of knowledge, and the third year, and the fourth year the cardiology, and it's what you did is quite amazing, really. And is the kind of a thing. I mean, I give 4 days for a workshop like this, but I won't give 4 days to go, I know, to hear boring lectures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Exactly.
it's combined. You have theory, you then you put into practice, and you are taught by doctors, by people who actually does that stuff, right?
Exactly,
They are not talking to you from books, because I can take a book, I can learn it, and I can go preach that I know cardiology, right? And that's a very important aspect, that it was practical and it was conducted by people in that particular field, right?
And this was the moment that I used my graphic skills again after 10 years.
So
Or
graphic,
something like that.
okay.
So the fact that I knew Photoshop was the moment. This is the tipping point, okay? You realize that what you do in your childhood, in your adolescence, any skill you build up helps you in the future in moments that you never expect. Okay,
Yeah.
so I was like, man, I know how to use Photoshop. We can do the posters, we can do everything, the graphics, the Facebook page, everything, and make it eye candy. Because nowadays that's how you sell a lot of stuff. You make it look good. Okay,
Right.
and that's why you should never, you know, miss an opportunity to develop a skill. Okay, most of the times these skills come freely.
I know.
You know, you get bored in your house. Try to think about what you would like to do. What skill would you like to develop? At a certain point, I was bored, and I said, I just thought to myself, wow, origami guys, the guys that make origami, okay, that's super interesting. How do you do that? And I just popped the YouTube tutorial and started doing origami board. And I was like, wow, that's super nice, you know?
It is. And we have that opportunity. This kind of opportunities nowadays to basically, I don't know, learn any skill that you could imagine. You just need to, I don't know, fire up your laptop, tablet, phone, anything, and go on YouTube, and you'll find any tutorial you need, even how to tie your shoelaces or
Exactly.
anything. Basically anything. That's why I'm saying that information, of course, information is important, right? But how you present the information, how you make people consume and assimilate the information is the key. I think, and that's my view.
The point is, if you can be sufficiently focused on what you like,
Right.
even the small things, the details, you go to a website like, I don't know, Apple or Tesla, and you see how beautiful they present their products. If you learn that stuff, you know what the standards are.
All right. We can
Okay.
make another whole episode
Yeah,
only
yeah.
about Tesla. Okay.
Okay, so the standards, if you apply the standards, you will get nice results. Okay, don't try to be too original. You know,
So
because
this is your, let's say, advice on how someone can find their passion. Just, I don't know, if something pops in their mind, just simply give it a try.
yeah, that's actually the definition of creativity in my book. I mean, that's why I appreciate Mihai Stancu so much. He's a good friend of mine.
I know.
Yeah, and he just gets these ideas and tells us, let's do that. Okay, we just start from second one. Okay, let's do it. What can go wrong? You know,
Right.
it's just an experience, especially when you are a medical student. In the clinical years, you get home at about what, 2 p.m. Okay,
Right.
you arrive home, you have the whole day for yourself. Do something that will make you be glad of your results. Okay, sure, you can go and relax and watch TV and stuff like that, but what does it really matter to you? You know, what matters to you the most?
All right.
Results or relaxation? For a long time, I've had a very busy life. I was like, I didn't like watching movies and you know, series and stuff like that. I like doing stuff. I love making projects. I love talking to volunteers. I love talking to superiors, stuff like that. Just the whole socializing thing that missed from my my childhood. And after a lot of time, I became more anxious, and that's when I realized, oh wait, I don't relax at all. Okay, so
That's a problem.
my current lifestyle, if that would be useful for someone, is during the 5 days of the week, I try to be as productive as I can, and in the weekend I relax
Nice.
completely. But during the weekdays, I go to the hospital, I prepare the daily report, I go into surgery, then I get out of the surgery, I go home at about, I don't know, 2, 3 p.m. And then I have the obligatory sleeping hour. Actually, it's not an hour, it's 10 minutes.
I know.
I do absolutely no chore for the house until I sleep 10 minutes, okay? And after that, I grab my guitars.
Okay.
I play for an hour, then start reading medicine, then eat, and then go to bed.
So that's your
That's,
daily routine
That's a daily routine. And it works.
during the
me.
work week.
Exactly, because I feel like I'm giving my best during the work week, and then I relax in the weekends, which is really important. You know, a lot of students, including myself, or if not most students, learn at very late hours,
Yeah.
and they are basically kind of exhausted by doing this, by having this lifestyle for years in a row, in, you know, like 5 or 4 years
Right.
of doing the same, having the same schedule of learning. And then when they start residency, they're already exhausted.
But I didn't ask you why and how did you choose medicine? I mean, why? Why did you choose medicine at all?
At all. Well, to help people. And I think it's a nice kind of both rational and emotional job. You get satisfaction from helping people. Okay, you like for example, in my domain, okay, orthopedic surgery,
All right.
you mostly see patients in bed because they have fractures,
Right.
and then you fix the fracture or you make an arthroplasty, and then you see them walk again. Like, wow.
That's
It's
wow.
like, they walk again. That's super important, you know?
Yeah, this. I think that this is the kind of feedback, one of the kind of feedbacks that helps you get out in the morning, out of bed,
Exactly.
and go to the hospital. I personally, I didn't experience that. I'm in my final year, but I've seen things, and looking at a patient, I was able to do that for him. I think it's a feeling that I don't think there is anything else that can equal this stuff. I mean, for a medical person, otherwise you won't choose medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a profession where basically if you want to achieve results, real good results, you have to think more about the patient than about yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because when you have empathy
Okay.
for a person,
Yeah.
and you know what suffering is, you try to make them feel comfortable. You try to make them feel whole again.
All right.
And nothing compares to that result.
I know. What are you most grateful for?
The internet.
Okay.
I'm grateful for life in general. I'm grateful that I had the childhood that I had, even though it was tough. I'm grateful that I had the opportunities that I had the friends in the past that managed to, you know, contribute to the journey that is life. Okay.
Right.
I'm thankful for the parents that I have, that they didn't stop me from pursuing music, even though both of them said that medicine is a really good, you know, a much better choice than music.
Do you have any medical background?
No.
No. Okay.
You mean the parents?
Yeah, or I know parents,
Not
relatives.
not even relatives. No.
No, me neither. I totally understand. All
But
right.
you know, out of their love for me, they thought that this would be the safest way to live my life. And yeah, it's a secure job. I know a lot of students nowadays think that, oh, what am I gonna do when I'm gonna be a resident? But it feels stable. You know, it's like you don't, especially if you have, you know, we have the job posts kind of lacking these days in Romania. But you have opportunities everywhere in the world. It's not like you do, I don't know, engineering for pipes, where you can literally have months where you when you don't have what to work at,
Right.
you know, where to work. You don't have projects to work for. That's super insecure.
Right.
This is a secure job. There is
It is.
lack of doctors everywhere in the world.
Right.
You can find solutions, and this makes you a more relaxed person. And you will only figure this out after you start the residency.
In 13 months, I think I will be in my first days of residency. So I'll tell you if that's my feeling too or not. What would be the advice you'd give to the 20-year-old you?
The 20-year-old me.
Or to the 18-year-old you,
Keep doing what you're doing. It's super okay.
right?
Yeah, no, the best advice that I would give is not to worry that much. Because I actually, regarding me specifically, I really had problems with anxiety. I was worried that, man, maybe I won't have that much money when I was going to have a job. Maybe I won't have a job. What will happen? Maybe I won't like what I'm doing. There was always this maybe it's gonna go wrong. The point is, there are solutions for everything. If you search for them, you will find them.
And if you're interested in finding solutions.
And if you're interested in finding solutions, of course.
Right.
Even if I did not choose med school,
Okay.
I could have continued with the music, and there were solutions for making money in music. Audience for a more pop kind of oriented band or project, and get money out of marriages, playing at marriages.
Okay.
That's
that would be a solution. I mean, there's no
that's
shame in
solution.
doing that.
So if you develop different skills, you can get different results, but all of them can lead to a good place if you're good enough.
And I think that if you really invest your true energy in something, I think it's impossible not to work. Really. I mean, if you really invest your energy in something, I mean, if you expect to boom, in 24 hours, that won't happen.
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
But if you really invest your energy and with the right amount of patience, I think you can basically do whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah, it's just a risk game, that's all. Because you won't be Elon Musk and he had great timing for everything.
Right.
That's
But I haven't heard of anyone achieving great results in their fields, right, without taking risks.
me, neither do I.
Or taking risks and put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can be lucky, but luck won't stay with you forever, right?
Jeff Bezos gave up a very good job, very high paid job to do Amazon, which was basically this insane idea of, it sounded insane. Wow, sell books online.
Right. And look at Amazon now.
Look, they're dominating everything now.
Right.
Okay, so that's something he took a risk for.
Yeah.
And he was very determined to do, and he never stopped working for it. And he's still a humble person. That's amazing. He drove his Toyota Corolla until about 3 years now or something like that.
I know.
A Toyota Corolla from the, I don't know, 1990, I don't know what year.
Yeah. I think they're not even interested in what are they driving. I think their focus is only on their work and their ideas, exactly. Their objectives. So this is basically irrelevant for him that he's driving a Toyota Corolla or I don't know what he's driving.
His desk was made out of a used door. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
It's humble. He didn't care for all this stuff. He cared for his idea.
Yeah.
He wanted to drive his business forward.
All right. My last question for you would be this: how would you like to be remembered?
Well, that's an incredible question. I guess I want to be remembered for the things that I created and left behind. Mm-hmm. That would be one thing. But the other thing that's most important to me is to be remembered as a person that wanted to be happy.
Okay.
And in the pursuit of happiness did what he wanted overall, even with some sacrifices.
All right. So nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for accepting my invitation. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you know someone that may, I don't know, benefit from our discussion, don't forget to tag them in comments and also give us your thoughts, your ideas, your comments. Thank you so much for listening.